He said, "You don't need a job, you just need money." And then the
Hmm.
light bulb went off, and I was like, "Holy crap, he's right."
Welcome back to the Yellow Room podcast. We hope the conversations we bring here continue to add value to your job search and your career journey. If you're currently looking for a job or just looking for anything that pays the bills, this episode is for you. And today's guest has a story of resilience that will encourage you in ways you might not expect. All right, so our guest for today has a journey unlike any we've shared on this podcast. He's been searching for his dream job for 22 years. Yes, you heard that right, 22 years. And the last interview he had before now was 4 years ago, but he never stopped creating. He's a multi-passionate creative, a novelist, a copywriter, a content writer, a ghostwriter, an anthology editor, a publisher. He even ghostwrote the third edition of Public Relations for Dummies. He lives in Northeast Georgia with his family and their very lively household of 4 dogs and 6 cats now. Also, we are hoping they join us. James, welcome to the Room Podcast. We are so glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me on, Victoria. It's great to finally talk to you today.
I made a post on LinkedIn to give hope to job seekers, right? That's how we met. And you dropped a comment. So to summarize it all, will you say you've given up on landing a full-time permanent role?
I think that's fair to say. Um, I've grown weary of the process that's necessary, of all the time and struggle and networking and just the constant grind of it all. I find myself, or I think myself fortunate that I'm in a position to where I can do that. I do have a job. I'm 9 years from retirement. So I'm just concentrating on that and building a runway of other income streams to kind of cushion that retirement when that day finally happens. I know everybody's not in that situation. People are getting laid off left and right. And if that's you out there, somebody, whoever's watching this, I feel for you. Just do the best you can, stay the course. You're not the problem. You're not the one that's broken. The system is. Uh, People way more qualified than me, and they're also having trouble. So I know it's not at least all me, and it's not all you out there either. So we're all just doing the best we can with the hand we've been dealt.
So let us through your journey. Yeah, because you have a very interesting story. Let's know when you graduated, and okay, you've already given us a little bit of what you're doing now, but just take us through your journey and how you've navigated the job market for 22 years.
So I graduated college in 2001. And
Mm.
for some of you youngsters who probably weren't around then yet, there was a recession. That's when the tech bubble burst, the subprime mortgage fallout, got out and couldn't find a single thing. Nothing in my d- field anyway. And I got an English major, which I don't recommend, but yeah, it was tough. And I was floored by how crazy it all was, and being promised, oh yeah, all you got to do is get a degree, just any degree, they don't care, and you'll get snatched up somewhere. And that is not at all what happened. So I had big student loan debt. I was working as a clerk in a jewelry store for like a whole year after college. Did some other stuff. Kind of fell into freelance copywriting because I thought I could use that as a springboard to a full-time job. That didn't happen either. But I got to do a lot of interesting things and meet some interesting people. I'd always wanted to write fiction, specifically science fiction, and I thought, while I'm waiting on this other stuff, I might as well. And I met some really amazing people, went to some conventions, made friends with the burgeoning indie author community, because this was around the time the Kindle came out, and I saw the possibilities with that. It was like, because they had to create their own market because publishers were not doing ebooks. And when they did do ebooks, they were charging for them what they charged for like a hardcover. I saw they are creating their own market. They're opening this up to just independent authors. So I've got to get in on this. and I've been doing that in various ways ever since. Worked for a handful of just kind of one-off clients doing, writing ebooks, sales letters, website copy, stuff like that. Nothing really landed, nothing really stuck. It's kind of a catch what you eat kind of thing. I'm older now. I hope I'm wiser. I'm a lot impatient with what's expected of you as far as the process now of, job hunting and boss hunting and all the success gurus, all the career coaches that, can tell you what's wrong if you can only pay them a mortgage payment, and,
Oh my God.
and then they give you subjective advice about your resume. Yeah, I mean, it's been a challenge, it's been a struggle, but, looking back on it, um, I can honestly say, like, I wouldn't be where I am and who I am now without all that struggle. Even though I think the struggle is unnecessary, I think there's a lot of we live in an abusive system. Capitalism is, for all its great things, is an abusive system. It tells people that if they can't be millionaires, there's something wrong with them. I don't think that's the case at all. And yeah, I mean, we're all just doing the best we can with what we've got, and that's what I'm doing.
All right.
I mean, I hope
That's
that
it.
answered your question. It's kind of, when I look back on everything, it's kinda like, man, I'm getting tired just hearing about it from somebody else.
Yeah. Well, that's a really summarized version.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll spare you
Well,
the gory details.
exactly, exactly. So you mentioned that you think that the struggle was actually unnecessary. So that's actually a very unique perspective. Can you like tell us more about that?
Well, I think our struggles make us who we are. They don't necessarily make us better. Some people are very bitter and cynical. I can be very cynical at times. I call myself a conditional optimist. I'm optimistic when there's something to be optimistic about. It's and as a writer, you create characters, and they have a story arc. They have to go through this struggle. They have to go on this journey and fight battles and overcome obstacles and overcome their fatal flaw, whatever that is, and they come out of it. They come out of that crucible a hopefully a better, more well-rounded person. And I think we all go through that in real life. I think that's why a lot of the reasons we turn to fiction to kind of help us on that journey.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about the 22 years of searching for a job, because that's actually very interesting. People want to know, like, how was it? Like, how, like, would you comparing it now to the job market of today? Will you say there's difference or kind of the same?
I follow a career coach on LinkedIn, and she's really cool. She's like, this is the worst job market I've ever seen. And she's been doing this for years. It feels kind of the same for me. Like, I never had there was like a boom before the bust. When I was still in college, there was like a tech boom. And then that bubble burst, as they inevitably do. Um, it always kind of felt the same to me. It was always difficult for me, for whatever reason. The only difference now is you're hearing about it now, that millennials and Gen Zers are going through it. When poor little Gen X me was going through it, you didn't hear about it. Everything was your fault. Uh, and I think we just got a better understanding of that and more empathy. But yeah, it was always kind of the same. And I didn't look nonstop. I would give up for a while, uh, until I saw something that looked halfway good. And it's taught me to look for exactly what you want, because just taking anything is how I ended up at my current job. I'm a lot more picky, even though maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm in that position where I can be picky and I can look for remote only roles that deal with content writing or copywriting, stuff like that. I don't I don't take just anything. I don't have to go work at a grocery store. I don't have to do sales, which I've done a little bit of that too, commission sales. So yeah, I mean, I didn't. I don't want people to think he's looked nonstop for 22 years. I'd kill myself. It wasn't like that. It was fits and starts and taking breaks and kind of waiting for things to get a little bit better, which I don't feel like they have. I think it's just a different problem. It's industries falling by the wayside, and now we have AI. Um, and there's a lot of growth and stuff too, but you've gotta already be ready for it. People want unicorns. They want somebody with 10 years of experience who's also 20 years old and has a master's degree and will also work for $9.
Oh my gosh.
So, and until that changes, things aren't going to get better. We're at, we can do a lot, but there are forces beyond our control.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Yeah. So you mentioned artificial intelligence. As at when you graduated 2001, it was the tech bust. Would you say now AI has, in a way, brought opportunities, but at the same time, it will also, like, some people are going to lose their jobs because of AI. Some people already are losing their jobs. So would you say it's the same based on like when you graduated, there was a tech bust, is it bubble, or how did you call it? And
Yeah.
now there's the AI threatening to lose, like people are going to lose their job because of AI. Would you say it's the same or you would say it's different?
I would say it's different. It's a different cause, and I think it's a different level of severity. I mean, the tech bubble bursting was huge. It was, thousands of people getting laid off
Hmm.
at a time overnight. The AI is, I think, more systemic, more widespread, but a smaller impact. It's different little clusters of things, and it's gonna create jobs too, but it's designed to get rid of jobs and consolidate jobs. Instead of 5 people, you have 1 person, which technology has always done that to some extent or the other. Look at, you go in a grocery store or Walmart, and they've got the self-checkout stations. So they've replaced 5 cashiers with 1 person to oversee 5 of those self-checkout stations. It's stuff like that. And some of that's inevitable, some of that's just tech bros wanting to replace everybody because they think we're all just NPCs, non-player characters, So, see people online on LinkedIn and stuff, they'll post something to the effect of, "You're not gonna lose your job to AI, you're gonna lose your job to someone who uses AI," and to me, that's a distinction without a difference. You lost your job, it doesn't matter.
So what are you doing currently? Like with this artificial intelligence, the threats and all that. What are you doing to, let's say, curb or adjust? Has it affected you in a way? Has it changed your strategy, how you get clients, how you position, maybe your skill sets and experience? Has it changed anything? Or are you working towards?
Well, and while I don't use it for writing, it's very good at, like, ideation and coming up with business concepts. I
Yeah.
have used it for that. I don't use it for creative work or copy work. It's not there yet, for one, and then B, I like doing that stuff. So I'm not going to outsource what keeps me alive, if that makes sense, to a machine. These machines are supposed to mow our lawns and do our laundry so we can write, not write so we can mow our lawns and do our laundry.
Hmm.
But so, from that aspect, I guess that has changed kind of how I go after clients. I'm starting a new venture now of Kickstarter consulting. Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform for authors, game designers use it, tech people who have made, come up with some gadget, some appliance or gadget, use it to raise money to fund their creation, whatever it is. And I've been using it myself as an indie author, so I'm focusing on indie authors.
For the audience that don't really understand what you meant by tech bubble busting and all that, can
Mhm.
you explain what it was, what caused it, and how it was before then?
Well, I mean, we had a big tech boom. I mean, the internet was not new, but it was the Wild West for a long time. And I
Uh,
think as things kind of solidified and stuff got figured out, a lot of these people that were taking advantage of kind of the quote unquote lawlessness of it um, got taken out as things stabilized, and the market for things matured. I remember when to get your URL for a website was like, I mean, I tried to get my name back in the late 90s and it was like 200, $300. Now it's $10 a year. So there's good things for that. A lot of these guys were just selling, I mean, vaporware. It wasn't anything real. Or, um, you know, a cube farm filled with Aeron chairs and new product. So some of those guys needed to go. They got what they had coming to them. It's I'm sure there's been analysis of it. I haven't looked into any of it, but that's in general what happened. It's just things matured, and the people that couldn't keep up got um got their hats handed to them pretty much, and that's just what happens. Some of them I don't have any sympathy for. Some of them I do, but it's just but it affected other things. It affects real estate. It affects the collectibles market, believe it or not, for like action figures and stuff. Because all these coders and stuff are geeks like me, and they were collecting action figures. Well, they couldn't afford to do that anymore when they were laid off, and that stuff tanked. That's a weird. You wouldn't think there'd be a connection, but there's little. It took other stuff down with it. That was bad too. But yeah, it's just the market adjusts. We have recessions for that reason because there has to be market adjustments. There can't be unlimited growth in one area uh, forever. It's untenable without either that or something else around it collapsing to compensate. It's just what happens. It's not something that should happen, but that's our economic system. We've had, what, 3 or 4 recessions since I've been out of college. So every few years there's a recession. It just happens.
yeah, it does. It does. And it kind of look like that's what's gonna happen for this AI also. Can you share your thoughts on that? Because how you explained it now, it kind of looks similar to what's happening right now with this AI and all that. What do you
There's a
think?
lot of money being pumped into it.
Yeah,
Some of that money will bear fruit, some of it will not. I liken it to the process of biological evolution. You will have I'm going to get science nerd on you now. This is the sci-fi writer in me. You have successful organisms, and then you have some that aren't so successful that could not adapt to the niche or could not adapt when that niche changed. You have humans, for example. We were not the only hominid species. We existed at the same time with several others: Neanderthals, Cro-Magnons, Denisovans, and we're all that's left. The others couldn't cut it. We outcompeted them. We killed them off. The rest of them died off, and we're what's left. And that's going to happen with AI too. There's going to be some that are really good, and some also ran, some up and comers that don't quite make it. And as soon as they're not bearing fruit, they're not justifying the billions that are being pumped into them, they'll go away.
true. That's true. So that's something, if you're listening right now, that's something you should actually pay attention to.
Yes.
Yeah, because it shouldn't be that you're kind of like informed. Now you know how it was back then when the tech bubble burst. I'm using your words. And now you know there's a possibility of this happening again. So you should be ready, right, about that. I think we also had a conversation with Professor Amen. He spoke about AI in like very intense. So you can also listen to that episode. So in your words, you said, finally I realized I don't need a job. I needed money. So
Right.
how did you get there? How did you like, can you walk us through everything involved. I know it's not possible. Yeah, just how did you get to that point? I'm like, oh no, I don't actually need a job. I just need money.
Well, and what's funny is I was at work and we had some kind of seminar. Our insurance has like or it did at one time. It's changed now, but we had like a mental health kind of a company that did mental health stuff and counseling, and you could go talk to them and stuff. I forget what it was called. This guy came from there. He was one of those guys and did a presentation. I don't even remember the nature of the presentation, but at the end of it, he said, you don't need a job, you just need money. And then the light bulb went off, and I was like,
Wow.
"He's right. We're out here chasing our tails, trying to get respect, trying to get self-actualization, trying to feel empowered, a sense of belonging." Like, I never had that at work. Like, I do my job and go home. I don't have any other attachment to it than that. My job can't be done from home. So when I come home, the work stays at work because it just has to. I don't carry that stuff around. I don't think about it on the weekend. So the concept of people getting all this fulfillment from work was like alien to me anyway. And to hear that and go, "You know what? Yeah, I don't need a job, I just need money." And there's only 1 or 2 ways to get a job, and you have to be way more qualified than me, but there's tons of ways to make money to varying degrees of difficulty. You should have more than one income stream anyway. If you get laid off, you're in this market, you're screwed. You're out a year and a half before you find something else. You'll be driving for Uber and working at Publix and donating
Like,
plasma and whatever you can do and driving yourself crazy.
interesting. Wow. That was very illustrative.
Thank you. It's the writer in me. I can't help it.
It's a good one, actually. Okay. So, for people listening right now that have been on this set for a long time, maybe more than 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows?
Mhm.
And they're actually thinking of making that switch. Can you share strategy, tips, anything for them to hold on to and maybe get started?
As far as making money on their own or looking for a job?
Making money on their own, actually. Like, they
Okay.
also don't need a job, they need money.
Right. Well, and depending on your situation, you might need money like right away. None of this stuff is gonna replace your job income tomorrow or might
Yeah.
even make you 20 bucks tomorrow. So if you need a job, go get something. Like I said, go drive for Uber. Do something though that will free up your time, because if not, you'll just be stuck doing that and you still won't be making enough money. Look to your passions. What are you passionate about? I love writing. I love talking and thinking about stuff. You guys out there probably do too. And go to YouTube, look for ideas. There's ideas all around. Find a need and fill it. Start a YouTube channel. Start creating content. Create something for you that you own, that's intellectual property that you own, a book, a course, something like that you can sell over and over again. Look for passive income streams. They're all active in the beginning. You have to create it, but then once it's
Yeah.
created, it's done and you sell it over and over and over again. That's kind of general. I know everybody's different, but I mean that's the mindset that kind of helped me kind of start looking for that stuff. Be open to possibilities. Work on your mindset. When you get laid off, it's easy to think, "Oh, I'm worthless. I'm stupid. They laid me off because I'm no good." But they may have just laid you off because they had shareholders they had to line the pockets of, or they got bought by a private equity firm and they're cutting it up for parts. It has nothing to do with you. You are valuable. You have value regardless of a job, regardless
Yeah.
of a company deeming you worthy to go and work for them. So take your power back.
Yeah, take your power back.
Oh,
Powerful. That's a good one. So you spoke about insurance that involved mental health and all that. Did you say or would you say your job search affected your mental health? Was it part of your decision to like, oh my God, I don't need a job, I need money?
yeah, that was a lot of it. Like I just felt depressed. I mean, it's tough. It's hard to apply for a job that you know you're perfect for, and you don't even get an interview. You don't even get we've chosen another candidate at this time. Good luck in your job search half the time. So yeah, it made me feel bad, and I don't wanna feel bad. When I feel bad, I can't do anything else. And part of that, if you're still needing to look, is, I had to got to a point where I had to have no attachment to whatever job I was applying for, because then I would get a rejection and go, "Oh, I forgot I applied for that. Oh, well." Um, we put all this, and companies want you to do this. They want you to, they act like they're dating you. They will, you're supposed to love it and use their app and stalk their CEO on Twitter and just all this stuff, and then you're devastated when they don't give a crap. So, yeah, stop doing that to yourself.
Wow.
That way lies madness.
Yeah. Wow. That's actually very insightful because the way employers right now are positioning, they are trying to like have to like
Mhm.
do sort of things like hideous things to just get a job. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually a good one. So thanks for sharing that. Thanks for that. It's actually very insightful.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
welcome. It's
Yeah.
hard-won
So
knowledge.
yeah, all right. So what would you say to like let's say someone that was in your shoe, that is in your shoe 22 years ago when you just newly graduated, yeah? They are done with school or maybe they went back to do a second degree, maybe their masters or what, and they are seeking advice on their career path. What do you have to say to them? Someone watching now.
I would say just maybe the process will be a little bit easier for them, maybe. I know the whole job market is a dumpster fire right now. Um, I would tell them to stay the course. I would tell them to create something. If they're if their degree is in marketing and they're out of school and they don't have any experience, create something online and market it. Then you'll have something to show when you finally do get an interview, or you'll make so much money doing that, you won't need to take a job. That's what I tell people. Create stuff. Make art. Make something that has no value whatsoever, because every moment of your day, every hobby is supposed to be monetized. Our system, our society is all about extracting value from every moment of every day for somebody else. So do something for you, do something selfish, paint a picture, take a pottery class, write a short story, write a book. Um, because even if you never sell it, you can say, I did that.
Yeah.
I'm one of only a few people who have done that and finished a thing. And
Yeah.
that's empowering.
Yeah, it is. It is actually. So in those years of searching for a job, how did you hold on? Yeah, because I know it's very, very depressing. I was looking for a job for 12 plus months yeah, until now I've not yet gotten that dream role. It looks like a myth. Well, how did you hold on? How did you for lack of a better word, I think you understand what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, well, I mean, life is what happens when you're making other plans. So, I have a wonderful support system, my wonderful, supportive, and long suffering wife.
Hmm.
We have a beautiful daughter. I've raised a family. We have a beautiful home on a beautiful piece of property. Try to find fulfillment outside of work, because and like I said earlier, I never really felt fulfilled in my job. There's parts of it I either put up with or actively loathe. I don't get anything out of it but a sore back and a paycheck. So, you have to look for fulfillment outside. I have wonderful friends. I have met some awesome people in the science fiction writing community that I'm friends with. I go to conventions. We go on trips. We enjoy our time off. I take time off as much as I can. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I would say to people is people look for work for fulfillment, and then they think they're supposed to feel that way, that it's supposed to give them some higher purpose or something. It may not. It may just be the paycheck that funds your higher purpose. Some people just have to let that go. It's not the end all be all of human existence.
So can you tell us what you're doing now? Maybe there's someone here that might need your service. So just tell us what you're doing right now.
So I am I am writing still, not doing so much the ghostwriting stuff. I kinda got burned out on that, but if the money's right, I will consider it.
Of course.
I can't be bought, but I can be rented.
Nice one.
So, but I am doing, and I've just kind of segued into that as one does, kind of, you're always falling into something else and trying stuff out, but I'm doing Kickstarter consulting. Kickstarter, for the uninitiated, is a crowdfunding platform. Authors use them to create books. Game designers use them to create games. Products get funded there. It's a marketplace of ideas. And I
Hmm.
have had some success with Kickstarter, and I'm continuing to use Kickstarter. It's a major part of my writing and publishing business. And I want to help other writers get their Kickstarters to fully fund and grow their audiences. So that's what I'm working on now.
All right, all right. So I would share. You have a link that they can reach out to you in case they're interested.
Yeah, I can share my LinkedIn page.
All right. Okay.
You can do that, and I've transitioned my LinkedIn page over to that stuff from content writing. That's the best place for right now. They can book a call with me. They can also download a free guide on 7 Kickstarter mistakes. And yeah, if you're interested in Kickstarter, if you've never used it before, or if you've used it in the past and not had much luck, you want to do better next time, yeah, give me a call, get in touch with me. We'll talk about it.
All right. So how do you feel? How do you feel about telling your story to the job seekers listening now? How do you feel about that?
I mean, it feels great. I mean, I think about this stuff all the time. I've written about it on LinkedIn some when I have the opportunity, and it's been great to be able to share these hard won insights with people. I hope they resonate with people
Yeah.
and people get something out of it, because I feel like I've learned a lot about not just myself, but how the world works, how the world really works. And I kind of see things how they are, not how I want them to be, but I think we can do better, but it's a systemic issue. Um, it's gonna have to come from all of us. We all do better when we all do better. So yeah, I'm happy to share whatever I can, whatever I've learned, because it's school of hard knocks stuff.
All right. So that brings us to the end of today's episode of the Yellow Room Podcasts. James, thank you for sharing your honesty. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for sharing your hard knocks knowledge and insights and experience. So thank you so much for
Thank you,
that.
Victoria,
Thank you
for
for
having me
making it.
on. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, your story is a reminder that even when the road is long, it looks like nothing is working. Progress can still happen. You don't have to give up to get. It might be moving very slowly, but just know that progress will always be happening. So everyone watching this or listening, if you're in a season of waiting, rejection, or uncertainty, we hope this conversation gives you a little bit of strength, right, to keep going. Your path doesn't have to look perfect, like James has mentioned, for it to be meaningful. Your pace doesn't have to match everyone around you. Like you go to LinkedIn, there's always celebration. I just got a job. I just got promoted in 3 months and 6 months. But I hope this story, James' story, actually resonated with you. And if it did, please would like to hear about it in the comment section. I would also share James' LinkedIn so you can also reach out to him, right? For if you need his services and the Kickstarter group. So yeah, I think that's it for now. So thank you so much. If this episode encouraged you, please share this with another job seeker that is also searching for a job. You can also subscribe, you can also follow us, and please drop a comment. We actually want to hear what actually resonated with you. So thank you. Bye. Take care of yourself.